It's an exciting time for those involved in the film, TV, and production industry here in Manitoba, as more movies and TV series are being shot in this province. Winnipeg, in particular, is on the upswing, becoming more known as a film hub in North America.
It's a very exciting year for us here in Manitoba. We have a fabulous summer ahead of lots and lots of production. I think we have 10 or more actually productions. We are still hearing from people coming in, and it's really exciting because this is probably the busiest year we'll have ever had.
Lights, camera, action, a familiar phrase heard here in Winnipeg and across Manitoba, as the film industry continues to light up and gain traction across the province.
The stars are just aligning for us right now in a post-strike world where budgets are a bit smaller. They're looking at ways to stretch their dollar in the studios in America, so they're looking north of the border between the exchange rate and the extremely strong tax credit that we have here, in addition to direct flights from LA and a new studio. Like, all of these things are coming together really nicely and really making us a desirable location.
There have been many movies and television shows filmed in Manitoba. Of course, Liam Neeson's film The Ice Road was shot in several locations across the province at the start of 2020, including in Ile-des-Chênes, Flag Day featuring Sean Penn, Violent Night, among many others. And now this summer in particular, there are many productions happening.
Yeah, well, I can't tell about a lot of the projects because a lot of them are under NDAs with the studios, but a couple of them have been announced. We know that there's a Stephen King movie that's being shot here called The Long Walk. We know there's a sequel to Nobody, which is a movie that was shot here a couple of years ago. There are a couple of seasons of new shows, new series that were shot here a couple of years ago as well. Gabrielle Roy is a French language series that's shooting right now. We also have Acting Good, which has been on CTV. They're into a third season as well. So those are a few of the ones that we can definitely talk about. But there is, there are a couple of the hallmarks in the horror movies which Manitobans like to do. This is a great thing for our economy because there's so much spin-off to this. Not only are jobs created in the film industry, but there's all the things that go along with it, right? The suppliers, the hotels, the restaurants, the activities that people do while they're here when they're in from out of town and that kind of thing as well. So it's very, very strong for us.
We see a lot of opportunity in Winnipeg. We are undertaking a strategic plan that involves investing significantly in Western Canada, and obviously Winnipeg's one of our original destinations and a very important part of our network. We have an amazing partnership with the Winnipeg Airports Authority, with Economic Development Winnipeg, and with the province of Manitoba that enables us to do these types of announcements and launch new services. We have a lot of optimism about the future of the city.
Back in 2022, WestJet announced direct flights between Winnipeg and Los Angeles, which was welcome news for the industry after it had been calling for this direct flight for years.
This is huge for Manitoba. In fact, the sky is the limit, no pun intended, but this, what WestJet is announcing today, is absolutely incredible for our economy here in Manitoba.
Skrmetta says that announcement back in 2022 has been huge for the film industry in this province.
That's been a crucial thing. The direct flights from LA to Winnipeg has been so important for LA executives to really see us as a viable location. You know, it's really easy to fly door to door.
Skrmetta says especially from this announcement, it propelled Manitoba's recognition within the film industry.
Absolutely. We are totally on the map for the film industry now because we've done so much over the past few years, and all these little bits and pieces, the tax credit, the exchange rate, the flights, all help to make the industry grow and make it stronger because people become more interested, they shoot more shows here, we get better experience, we get a better reputation, and all of those kinds of things, right? So it's really, really strengthened our community here.
But it hasn't come without its challenges to get where we are now, with major events that took a toll like the COVID-19 pandemic and the Hollywood actors' strike in 2023.
You know, it's been a long period of growth, but I think we've had a real upswing in the past few years. I mean, pandemic aside, of course, that was challenging for everybody, but we were one of the first industries to come back actually during the pandemic. We have a really strong community that works well together. So in that particular circumstance, they worked on the protocols that really allowed people to get back to work more quickly. And when that kind of stuff happens, again, we have this opportunity to be able to get things going, get people experiencing multiple productions in a single year, which really helps things grow. And then there's all kinds of training opportunities as well that get created through that.
A lot of film productions gravitate to Winnipeg's Exchange District, but Skromita says there are many more locations in the province that are great for shooting.
We have an inland sea, of course, right, in Lake Winnipeg, so that has actually doubled as the ocean. In the winter time, it doubles as Antarctica, which is really exciting as well, right? And then there are a lot of small towns outside the borders of Winnipeg that really can do that feel of Kansas or Oklahoma or places like that as well. And so there's a lot of big epic stories that are told with those big skies and wide open plains, and this is the place to do it.
Skromita says she is super excited for all the potential this province has to offer moving forward.
There's just so much that can happen, you know, like we are really just getting started because again, with the challenges that we've had over the past couple of years between the pandemic and the strikes that happened in the US, we've kind of not been able to do as much as we could, but we have the infrastructure now, we have the crews now, we have great locations here as well. We do small town America really, really well, but also we can do New York and Boston and Chicago, so big cities like that as well. So there's lots of great flexibility, and so the more and more people know about us, the more and more people see the films that are shot here, the more potential we have, and I just think the growth can be exponential.
And with that, there's a lot of opportunity for jobs.
I think Manitobans can also see this as a viable career option, so if you're interested, Actor's the place to contact for casting. Film Training Manitoba has entry-level opportunities, so I think that's the other thing that people can think about, is that just because you're in Manitoba doesn't mean you can't be part of this industry.
New Beneful Incredibites. Serve a little joy in every bite. Beneful gives them big taste just for small dogs. With real veggies and chicken, salmon, or lamb, it's variety your small dog is going to love. Joyful, healthful Beneful.
Nivea Q10 Targeted Wrinkle Filler. With pure Q10 coenzyme and bioxyphil peptides, visibly reduces the look of fine lines in 5 minutes and moisturizes to help reduce the look of deeper wrinkles over time. For every expression of you, Nivea.
It's the first of its kind, conceived from the ground up to stir emotion. This is a luxury SUV built without compromise. The look, the sound, the feeling. Its power and design perfectly aligned. The new Mazda CX-90 Hybrid and Plug-in Hybrid, now available at Jerry Gordon's Mazda.
I've been the Mazda dealer in Winnipeg for 45 years, and I've never seen a car quite like this. Right, guys?
I've got to go, okay? Bye.
But if you don't,
Thanks,
put
Mom.
down your hands, 'cause I see you. I be your mirror.
You were made to dream about it for years. We were made to help you book it in minutes.
Depend offers all-day protection, so you can say yes to almost anything.
Yes! Yes. Yes. No.
Depend. The only thing stronger than us is you.
I'm meeting my girlfriend's dad.
Go with this one. It's AAA, well marbled, and extra tender.
A little extra advice can mean a lot. Save on foods.
Whenever you think of movies, television shows, or music, you think of the artists and the actors who are in front of the camera. But there are countless people who are behind the scenes putting these productions together.
So we're a recording studio. We started off primarily with music recording, mixing, mastering. My business came out of sort of the rave scene of the 1990s. I was involved in playing warehouse parties and various different things related to the underground electronic dance music scene, not intending for this to be a career at all. I was a lawyer. That was my previous life. Consider myself, I guess, a recovered lawyer now. And this was a hobby for me.
Andrew Yankuski owns Precursor Productions in Winnipeg. Back in 1999, he and a friend decided to launch a recording studio as a hobby, and by 2005, he decided to make a go of it as a career path.
Basically, after that point, it was like, well, how do we branch out of music into other areas? Because it was clear to be sustainable in the long term, we would need to go into other areas. So we kind of moved first into corporate commercial voiceover, so voiceover and audio for online learning, that sort of thing. Then that kind of ultimately segued around 2009 into film and TV work. We had done bits and pieces of it before, but really for the most part, we hadn't really done a lot. And so we kind of came into the industry here when things were in a very down phase. Hollywood had kind of pulled out because the dollar was at par. I'm not sure what the state of the tax credit was, but I don't think it was as favorable as it has been in recent years. And so people had a little taste of it in the early 2000s, and now things were down, and we're like, wow, great. We entered the marketplace in film and television right when everybody's at their most desperate and depressed. In retrospect, it was actually a really good thing, because ultimately we had a chance to sort of grow with the current growth we're seeing in the industry.
Jumping from the music industry to the film and television industry is a big change. It's a completely different ballgame. He says it was a pretty big leap for him.
We had a few early experiences. Obviously, the first work we did were, local level documentaries, short films, sort of very, very like low budget features. You cut your teeth on those things, and some of them really, you're not really getting out of them what you're putting into them, but like anybody, you're building a portfolio. We found early on that showing people incredible sound, even in surround sound, which we had done early on, really wasn't enough. They needed to see things to picture in the film and television industry, and we were kind of like, well, you're hearing great music and you're hearing it in surround and we're quoting you reasonable prices, why won't you hire us? So we had to build that portfolio, and that took about 5 years. But because the industry was growing at that time and Hollywood was starting to make things here, as well as other large centers, but Hollywood's the one I think most people it's most visible to people. We had the opportunity to do some dubbing and ADR sessions with some Hollywood talent early on, as early as about 2009, 2010. And we weren't expecting it. It was kind of like, wow, suddenly you're getting a call from a Hollywood studio out of the blue, and you're saying yes to things that maybe you're not fully prepared for. But we jumped in, and it was kind of trial by fire. And then it actually worked out very well for us, because once you have some of those things on your portfolio, definitely people take note. But the more exciting side for me is it gave us a window into a very well-oiled machine.
Andrew says to this day he still gets nervous when a big name comes into his studio.
Obviously, when it's very famous Hollywood talent coming in, I'm always thinking, well, I'm going to be the guy that screws it up or something. And it's just I think every business owner has a bit of that fear somewhere, otherwise you wouldn't be conscientious. We've definitely gotten a little more confident over the years, but I still, until the session is done and we know we've got the audio and it's delivered, I'm always a bit nervous. I'm a bit anxious about it. I think that's my role now. So we've been very fortunate to have a few real notables, and I mean, Liam Neeson definitely is one that comes to mind. I got the call one day, and I was sitting here because we teach at our studio too with a student, and a call comes in from, I think it was Burbank or something. I'm like, oh, I should probably answer this call, sorry. And they're like, oh yeah, Liam Neeson's in your area, and we want him to come down for some dubbing, basically, on a feature film that he'd done. So the film was The Marksman, and I hung up the phone and talked to the student, and I said, Liam Neeson's coming to our studio. He said, well, that's great. I said, I'm terrified. You just never know what you're up against. It ended up being a fantastic session, not without its stresses, but we got it done. He was great, and that for me was probably one of the most notable ones that we had. We were fortunate also to have Hilary Swank in. We had Natalia Dyer in from Stranger Things Season 4 as well too. Got to do a little bit of dubbing on that as well, which is very exciting because I was eagerly awaiting those episodes and trying not to watch the bits and pieces that we were exposed to so that I could enjoy the series as well too. So those were things that we never really expected to have the opportunity to work on.
Andrew's day-to-day work varies. He still takes on some music projects, which he says is still exciting. They also teach 4 months of the year, so he has students rotating in and out of his studio.
The majority of our revenue now is film and TV type work, so we're usually continuously working on television series. We have a lot of true crime production here. One of our clients, Farpoint Films, does a lot of that sort of work, so we, as a result, do a lot of work on their TV series. And so we often have a series that's on the go. We do sometimes have feature films at the same time or TV movies going. So the team here is small. There's basically 5 of us that work on things, and it does scale. Sometimes a project only needs 1 or 2 people on it. Other times it needs the full 5-person team. Long term, we're hoping to grow to about 10 people, which is quite large for audio post-production. We'll see if we get there, but right now it's about 5 of us. A lot of my team members actually still work remotely. So when the pandemic happened, it wasn't a big change for us because, you know, when you're doing things like editing, a lot of that can be done on a laptop remotely in a small home studio type setting, or even sometimes just on headphones and a laptop. And then obviously it comes together in our professional environment when we finish things. So that's been great because it allows the team to scale as needed, and it allows us to take on things that are bigger than you would think. So we've always tried to buck the system in terms of really trying to have a very technology-driven, team-based way of attacking these projects. So, I mean, that's essentially how we work.
He says it's great to work with production teams and talent from Hollywood.
The talent, the actors are all a little different. Some are talkative, some are not so talkative. We get the opportunity sometimes to have a little short conversation with them and get, once again, a window into their world, which is different from our behind-the-scenes world, but it's always fascinating. And it varies, right, from just a few choice words maybe before and afterwards that you get a chance to share, to actually sitting down and having a bit of a conversation of how things are usually going with them here shooting. And one of the things we've been hearing from the talent, not necessarily from Liam Neeson specifically, but from a number of the different actors that have come up, is that people are aware of Winnipeg and Hollywood, which we just don't expect still. And so as a result, they're aware. They have other actors, other friends of theirs that know about Winnipeg that are potentially coming up here to do things. And it's kind of nice to hear that there's a little bit of buzz down there. You know, we're realistic about it, but that's something that I just don't think you expect. And it's really neat to hear that in a comfortable setting.
Andrew says as cool as it may be to have famous actors in his studio, he tries to keep things as low-key as possible, because at the end of the day, he's doing his job.
Maybe it's foolish, but I don't do any photos or video shot with them or anything like that. They're often coming here on their day off. You know, they might have to be up all night on a shoot or something like that. And we want to respect that it's just a little bit of quiet time for them to get something done, fulfill a job or an obligation that they have, and make it as normal and low-key an experience as possible. So we try to do that, and it's been successful for us so far. Are we throwing away opportunities maybe to have some fantastic photos? But, you know, you can get photos of the actors and post them on social media and say you did the job when it's appropriate to do so, but it's more important that the experience for them be one in where it's optimal for them to create the performance that they need for what they're working on.
He says it's been great growing his production business in Winnipeg and is excited for the future of film and television production in the province.
When we entered this marketplace, 2009, 2010, thereabouts, it was the opposite of that kind of sense. And in a relatively short period of time, like, you know, in my books, I've owned this business for almost 25 years now, and to see that level of growth and that level of awareness in such a large machine like Hollywood, I mean, it shows that the industry in general is changing, but that we're also finding our place in it. As you know, a city for great locations and increasingly for great crews that we have here as well too. And that's, you know, another side of things. And now specifically my personal quest is that hopefully we become known more and more as a place where audio post-production can be done as well too, or just post-production in general. And I think that's usually a little later. People are most excited about things shooting here, about the crews being developed, and we are definitely in that phase right now. And we've seen tremendous growth and recognition. And hopefully we'll see the same kind of recognition in post-production and all aspects of it, my personal interest being audio post-production, obviously.
Andrew believes things can sustain and even increase in terms of the film, television, and audio production scene in the province. He says it seems almost inevitable with the way media is being created and presented. Andrew says there's a lot of opportunity popping up in the industry and is appealing to those who are thinking of joining.
This is potentially a sustainable career for you. It's an unusual lifestyle, and you will have to depart a lot from the traditional 9-to-5, and a lot of the traditional jobs that people in a jurisdiction like this have seen to be great jobs or good or stable jobs. But there is an excitement factor. No 2 days of mine are the same, and if you're somebody who likes that level of excitement, who likes to work on things that seem improbable in our jurisdiction here, that seem very unlikely, then this could be the industry for you. And there are opportunities there. The most obvious opportunities right now are getting onto a film crew. As long as there's that continuity, I think we will see that growth, and we'll see a long-term investment in the infrastructure of film and TV, which is perhaps lacked in a big scale here. We've always had, you know, smaller Canadian infrastructure, but I think we need to scale up in a bigger way, and we're seeing the market respond.
Everyone in this house is a liar, and they will do anything to keep their family name a secret.
I'm here to win.
Claim to Fame premieres Wednesday on City TV.
Summer savings are on the way. Wayfair's Canada Day clearance is here, and it's the talk of the neighborhood because now through July 7th, you can save up to 70% on everything home. Yes! Save on fines for indoor and outdoor. And get surprise flash deals you don't want to miss. And get it all with fast shipping straight to your door. Save up to 70% off with Wayfair's Canada Day clearance now through July 7th and amp up your summer with savings.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Dry skin needs a little extra care, and it's natural. Treat it that way with Aveeno Daily Moisturizing Lotion, formulated with nourishing prebiotic oat, proven to moisturize dry skin all day. Also try our face formula, Aveeno.
You asked and we listened. Tim's Retro Donuts are back again for a really limited time. Enjoy classics like Walnut Crunch and Dutchie, and now including Sugar Twist and Blueberry Sour Cream. Get them before they're gone.
It's time for Tim's.
My granddaughter is graduating. She's so determined and always uses her voice to push for change. Her great-great-grandmother, Marie Michaels, she was like that too. She was a lawyer, and with Ancestry, I learned that she'd been fighting for change her whole life. She once organized a protest when she was around Gabby's age. Makes me proud, you know, this powerful line of women in our family. Get to know your family story. Get started for free at Ancestry.ca.
New Finish Ultramax, engineered for the toughest conditions. Dry, burnt-on stains, old dishwashers, very hard water. New Finish Ultramax with Cycle Sync technology helps deliver the ultimate clean.
Prime Day is coming July 16th and 17th. With epic deals exclusively for Prime members, you'll feel like a big deal. Shop deals on electronics, fashion, home, and more this Prime Day.
Sail through the heart of historic cities and unforgettable scenery with Viking. Unpack once and get closer to iconic landmarks, local life, and cultural treasures. Because when you experience Europe on a Viking longship, you'll spend less time getting there and more time being there. Viking, exploring the world in comfort.
I'm ready for all competitors. Welcome to the world that you deserve to be in.
Double down, then I level up.
This is the best I've ever seen.
My favorite act so far.
You're dead, it's time to settle up.
I want to see more.
You absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whoa! It was incredible.
The word is epic. Ready for all competitors.
You've got a real shot at winning after that.
America's Got Talent. All new Tuesdays, 8, 7 Central on City TV.
The film and television industry is growing exponentially here in Manitoba, and the opportunity to work full-time and make a career out of it is growing, which in turn helps our economy.
Film Training Manitoba is a member of the Province of Manitoba's Sector Council program, and we're a training organization which provides courses and classes for members of the film and television industry. So we say that we're an organization that's with people at the beginning of their career and really throughout their career.
Adam Smaluk is the Executive Director of Film Training Manitoba, having been there for 18 years now. He says when he first joined FTM, there wasn't much production in Manitoba as there is now.
There's an enormous opportunity here in Manitoba for people that want to enter into our industry, and we like to think that we're an organization that can really help people in a big way.
And the growth of the film and television industry in Manitoba, he says, has been enormous over the last 5 to 10 years.
It's actually matching in a major way the industry growth that we're seeing throughout the globe. With the streaming services, box office, there's a wide collection in ways that studios and people that finance films that can earn revenue off of it. So with that, there's been more opportunities for Film Training Manitoba to provide training and to engage with the public. But we've noticed right across the board, all of our programming virtually is selling out now. So it's been a really great thing for our community, and it's great for our economy in Manitoba as well.
Adam says there are a wide collection of reasons as to why film and television productions shoot in Manitoba. He says this has to do with A, location, and B, the public's willingness to support such productions across the province. Winnipeg's Exchange District is one of the most iconic and vibrant neighborhoods in the city. If you just look around, you can see nothing but a collection of heritage buildings, which spans 20 blocks. In the present day, the Exchange District serves as Winnipeg's arts and cultural hub. It's the heritage hub of Manitoba and was declared a National Heritage Site in Canada in 1997.
This Exchange District in which our offices are is a huge asset. One of the things that I have seen in other cities across Canada is they grew in a certain way that they actually tore down a lot of older buildings and older areas. So the Exchange District, being a National Historical Site here in Manitoba and Winnipeg, it gives our shooting locations a real opportunity to showcase beautiful buildings that a lot of other communities simply don't have.
Adam says the film and television industry has really transformed over the last few years. In particular, the speed of the game has increased steadily. He says a big reason for that is the element of going from film analog into digital.
There's been a real speed increase in production over the last 5-10 years, very noticeable. And even the shooting days, that has changed a lot. So in the past, you might see a production go 30 shoot days, and now we've seen things been condensed a lot because of the fact that we can shoot things so much quicker with digital camera systems.
Adam attended the Cinegear Expo in Los Angeles in June and got the opportunity to see all kinds of camera systems, which are changing drastically.
Bodies are getting condensed, and that's really interesting to see because 10-20 years ago, you're talking about a camera system that was massive, and even just to carry it around took numerous crew members. So even just the size and scale of camera systems are getting a lot smaller, and the image quality is getting a lot stronger as well. So that's a real advantage, and you can do things in post that you couldn't do 20 years ago.
Adam says when he goes to conferences across North America, he says Winnipeg's reputation is growing positively and gaining great traction.
The amount of production that we're seeing, the quality of productions, there was a film, I guess it was about 2 or 3 years ago, that it was so thrilling to see, debuted at #1 in the North American box office. It was a film Nobody, and was shot here, principal photography, all shot in Manitoba. So that's a really exciting thing to see, a huge development for our province as well. And they're now shooting Nobody 2 this summer here in Winnipeg again. So it's totally exciting. And again, our locations, we have things that can double so well for other regions. Even the town of Gimli, it has a New England look to it. So you can actually have Manitoba double for so many different areas in North America, even Europe as well. So it's all just very exciting.